Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. And if it's your first time tuning in, let me give you the rundown a little bit about what I'm doing here. A few weeks ago, I was doing a budget and I realized that although I save a lot and I invest a lot, I wanted to meet some pretty specific financial goals. So I decided to put an actual dollar amount on how much money I want to be worth. That's my total net worth by the end of this year. And after thinking about it, I thought this year's about half over. So maybe give myself a little bit more time to adjust. So by the end of next year, by December of 2021, I will be worth $500,000. At least that's the goal. That's an increase from what I'm currently worth, about $130,000. I've made other videos talking about how I plan on doing this. It's just that I try to catalog what I'm doing as I do it. Also, I've been making videos just about whatever topic kind of pops in my head or anything people have questions about. So a little bit about my background. I was in the Navy for 10 years. I joined the Navy at 22 after working at a packing warehouse from high school up until that time. I learned a lot. About 5 years into my Navy career, I got tasked with doing this, we call them collateral duties. It's basically saying they want you to do another person's job, but you're not going to get paid or anything like that for it. So I did. My job was a financial specialist. Basically what happens is we get sent to a week-long school, and you basically are there to help the younger people in the Navy suddenly transition to making the amount of money they are. Now, I don't know how much you guys know or don't know about the way the military pay structure works, but when you first start off in the military in all branches, you don't get paid very much. Maybe 1200 to 2000, depending on if you're an E1, E2, or E3. I'll probably make another video about people who have specific questions about military pay structures, and I'll do that a little later. But let's say right now, my starting salary for the Navy was about $1,400 a month. And I came out of boot camp as an E2, which isn't very high. Now, you might think that's a really low amount of money, and granted it is. However, keep in mind that you also don't pay for food because you eat usually on base for free, and you don't pay for housing because you sleep in like a barracks. And now, don't get me wrong, we can argue all day about whether it's nice to live on housing or live on barracks, or if it's, if the food at the dining facilities are good. But either way, it's provided for you. So what happens generally is you get young kids who don't know anything about how finances work, and suddenly they have a good amount of money and no liabilities. So they end up spending it on stupid stuff like cars and stuff like that. So my job wasn't to stop them from doing that. It was just to teach them about things like long-term saving, retirements, how to save for a house, how to look for good interest rates on car loans, because we all knew they were going to get a car anyway. So if you're going to get a car, let me at least sit down with you and explain how interest works, and don't be fooled by like people telling you like, oh, you can afford the $60,000 car for $100 a month, not telling you that's like a 300-month loan. I'm exaggerating. I've never heard of a 300-month loan for a car, but stuff like that would happen, and people would do some really shady stuff to young service members who are just starting off. So that kind of sparked an interest with me. So I've since then started going to school. I have not got my degree yet, but I want to go for financial services with a minor in economics, which I'm working on right now. In fact, right after I'm done this video, I have to write a paper for my third English course to finish up my degree. So that's going to be fun. Anyway, so that's what I'm trying to do. And that's a little bit about myself. I've since gotten out of the military. I now work as a military contractor. I still deploy overseas. Right now I'm deployed, in case you can see my background. I always say I'm going to try to find a way to pretty this up for you guys, but I really don't have the means to do so right now because of the coronavirus. All the stores are closed. Like, we can usually go to like one of the like Afghani shops and like get like, a nice rug or something and put that up in the background. That's what a lot of other people do to like kind of make things a little nicer. But I don't have access to that right now, so just deal with my half-open cabinet that holds my clothes that doesn't stay closed. So moving on to today's actual topic. This video is not being filmed on the 5th of July, but it will be premiered on the 5th of July. The reason being is because, as I said, I am still working full time out here, and doing school courses. So I don't always know if I'm going to have time on the 4th to record a video for the 5th. So sometimes I make extra videos just in case I get behind or something, so that I can make sure I'm putting videos out fairly consistently. Um, so the 5th of every month is always a very good day for me. It's the day my mortgages are due. And I feel like I should explain a little bit behind my mentality and why I enjoy paying my mortgages so much. So my mortgages are due on the 5th. They clear about the 9th of every month. When I go on the Mint, which is linked up with the bank accounts that carry the mortgages, I get to see the total amount owed go down. My one mortgage I've had for 8 years. So my total amount going down is starting to increase, because I don't know if you notice about mortgages, but the longer or the more you pay into them, you start to notice the more of the payment goes towards the principal. So they're basically designed that when you first get a mortgage, or at least in my experience, your first payment, only about half of your actual payment is going to principal. The other half's going to interest. And to be honest with you, that's pretty disheartening. Like when you pay your first couple mortgage payments and you see such a small, you pay $1,000, but your amount owed only goes down by 500. It can really, be a downer. But after about 7 years in, you notice that the proportions are going up. I really like that, because basically it means I'm 1 month closer to actually owning my house outright. And I don't own any property outright. Well, not any real estate property, of course. I own, like my Jeep, I own that. That's not, like I don't have a loan on that or anything like that. But both my properties have mortgages. So I love watching the number go down, and I wish I could make it go down faster, but unfortunately, I can only do what I can do here. Same with my new house in Virginia Beach that we just moved to. Again, same thing happened. We just moved in there last August, so I'm close to a year now on that one. And same thing, I like paying, I like watching it go down. Now, what also happens at the beginning of each month, not on the 5th or the 10th, but like somewhere in the first week, is when Zillow updates property values. Now, these don't climb up nearly that much. I noticed that there's a noticeable increase about every 3 or 4 months. But regardless, in the beginning of every month, I like to look at how much money I have spent for how much money I have just earned. And usually it's about half. So yeah, I get paid and I put out $1,000 for my mortgage payment, but I really only paid $500 because my mortgage payment went down. And then if I'm lucky enough to have my property value go up that month, then that might actually just break even completely, which means that I'm not losing any net wealth by paying my mortgages. Additionally, each passing month, I get closer to my end goal, which is to finally pay off the mortgage. So it's so exciting for me. I actually really like doing it. And I know it's like nerdy, and I'm sure a lot of other people are like, oh, I hate that day. But I think when I transitioned from renting to buying, which I did kind of late, I was like 26 when I bought a house, it changed my entire perspective on it, because now I can track it and I just feel it emotionally feels better for me. I wonder if that happens to anybody else. I've actually never really asked anybody, but I'm kind of curious. So if that happens to you, I would love to hear about it down in the comment section below. And then the new house I have, there's not that big of a notice really in between everything. Unfortunately, it's still new, so one, the property values aren't climbing nearly as much in Virginia Beach as they are in Jacksonville, Florida. So the climb's been, I think it went up about $1,000 since I bought the house. So good. I mean, it's better than going down. And I know it will go up because that's the nature of property, and I didn't buy it, as far as I know, I didn't buy during a bubble period. I guess we still have time to find out whether that was a bubble or not, but I really doubt it. I'd be surprised if I lost a significant amount of value. The cool thing about that house, though, contrary to most, is when I bought my Jacksonville house, pretty much as soon as I purchased it, the value was down. It basically, there was a $199,000 house, and I paid 205 for it with fees and stuff. That was all in, and I used my VA loan. All veterans, you should be. VA loans are one of the most amazing loan products that exist. So I used my VA loan, no money down or anything like that. But then over the next, like the first 6 months of me owning it, the property value of the house was like 175. So it took a while to make that up. It took me about 2 years to no longer be considered underwater on my Jacksonville house. Now in Virginia Beach, pretty much as soon as I bought it, the value went up. So it worked out really well for me. No problems, no complaints there. So anyway, that's why I love the 5th of the month. It is my time to slowly but surely make my property mine. My end goal is to have more than just the 2 properties. I'd like to have a couple properties in the Virginia Beach area near the military bases that I can rent out to other people. I'm not there yet, but a large portion of my plan is actually to buy something next year. In the beginning of next year, I want to buy a duplex or maybe a triplex, but my concern is if I buy a triplex, I might not have the money necessary to renovate all 3 units. I'd rather have 2 properly maintained units than 3 that don't look as nice and that aren't as easy to rent out. I think it's a better investment that way. I could be wrong. I haven't actually ran the numbers because I haven't found a good unit yet, and as I said, I'm deployed, so even if I found something good now, it'd be pretty hard for me to purchase it. It's possible, but I already did one real estate purchase while I was deployed, and I kind of don't want to do another one. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, give me a like, a subscribe, bell notification, leave comments below, especially if you have any ideas for the videos. If you've noticed, I've been trying to get better with the videos and get a little more fancy with the editing. So if you have any comments you want to leave, I definitely read them all. And thanks for watching, and keep saving.